Hello? OMG, of course. Everybody can press *6 to unmute their line. I made a mistake during my panic. I turned the recording off. How did I start this? In 2009, I came back from Vermont and I started to take care of my mother full-time after I came back from Vermont. And in the following April or May, I started to be more conscious of what I was eating and tried to eat more whole plants. And I was interested in that area, and I went and visited with Arnold Kaufman in Lansdale, PA, the banana guru of the world. And he basically talked to me about fruit, and I was very happy to be very interested in that, and I started buying all kinds of organic produce from Whole Foods, and then very shortly thereafter was confronted with the fact that I wasn't going to continue to be able to do that and remain solvent because my bank account was evaporating because it was me and my mom, and I wasn't working. I was taking care of her. So I asked some folks who were helping me take care of my mom if they had any solutions to that problem. And one of them knew of the wholesale market. And we visited the wholesale market, I believe, the week before Christmas in 2010. And I started to buy cases of produce from the wholesale market just shortly thereafter. And I couldn't eat it all. It was too much. It was a case. So I started to share it. And literally by me sharing it and going and buying and more people asking me for cases when I went, in 90 days I was serving 150 homes. And then my mom became, I was serving 150 homes for about a year and a half into 2012, and my mom basically became really ill at that point, and I shelved the Produce Club version 1. And then after I came out of my depression after my mom passed, I was basically searching around. I had a few other experiences, and then in September of 2015, I basically put a plea out on Facebook saying, well, friends, I've sold my car for rent. I've spent the money. In 2 weeks, I'm going to be homeless. Can anybody help me? And the landlord of the place that I'm now staying basically said, oh, I have a place in Collingswood. I'd be happy to, it's empty. It's under the foreclosure gun, but I don't have anybody in it. I'd be happy to have you live there. And we worked a deal out where it was a very good deal. And I was just in Collingswood, and I said, oh, my gosh, I'm in Collingswood. I'm 7 minutes from the markets. Why don't I try that again? And so in March of this year, I began borrowing my landlord's brother's van, who is also my roommate, was very kind and loaned me his van in the middle of the night for me to go buy seconds. And I put an ad up on Vegan City Philadelphia and Vegan Food Enthusiasts. And how I started was I put a large pack on my back and my shopping cart, and I would wheel my my goods as they were over to the Patco station at Ferry Avenue and get on that and go over. And then I met John at 8th and Market Station and gave him, John Shuey, who's on the call, gave him a package of produce. And then I would get on the Market Frankfurt and go out to 52nd Street and meet Melanie's husband, Aziz, at the base of the platform there and hand him a package. And then I would serve folks at 34th Street in the Drexel University area, and then walk down to Center City and serve some folks at 16th and Market. 2 weeks later, Melanie had motivated 8 people in that area to receive shares, and I started dropping at night right after I went to the market. And everything else is sort of branched out from there. That's sort of a short history. Is that reasonable?
Yeah, that's great. I think it's fantastic, and I thank you. I hope that there is a way that you are compensated fairly for your efforts. I'm working on the pricing. I have a lot of people who are in my corner who are basically coaching me on what the prices are and to be fair to myself. And I have, over time, I have adjusted various pricing to make it more fair to myself. And it's a weekly practice for me. I continue to work on the pricing so that it is even for me as it is for everyone. And thanks so much for. I do have some interested people who are concerned that I'm doing reasonably well. I'm not doing super well, but I'm getting it lifted off the ground. Let's put it that way. Yeah.
I'm pleased. There's a thing that I call the ratio, and it's basically what I put into the market versus what I get out of the market. And I'm pleased now that I've tweaked the prices. I'm pleased at the ratio. What needs to change is the volume needs to change, and that's why I'm putting some more effort into changing the volume.
Yeah, well, just for knowing, as a new person, I just purchased for the first time this week, and I was really happy with everything. Like, I would consider paying like a membership fee if that was something that would help you logistically with all your efforts. So just throwing it out there.
I have considered that, and thank you so much for that. It would help me make some capital improvements, and I am thinking about that.
Alan, I think that's a great idea. You should definitely do. Arnold, I don't know if he's still doing his produce club, but he would charge only $50 a year for someone to buy in, to have access to this. And I think $50 is pretty meager, and that would be a great way for you to come up with.
I wasn't being that cheap on myself. So it's interesting. At the beginning, I sort of needed to establish the value of what I'm providing, but I think that I still want to do that, but I think I have an established value to what the product is. I mean, it basically saves people a lot of money. It saves people an incredible amount of money, and you get things from me that you just can't get anyplace. So I understand. I thank you so much for that. Let's is there anybody else? Any other questions, comments?
If someone isn't online, is there a way to make an order?
Yes. Basically, you can interact with me by phone and place your order. That is a little bit more difficult. I mean, if somebody doesn't have a computer, doesn't have a smartphone or any connections like that, they're
Correct.
basically calling by phone or stopping over to visit or something like that, right?
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, certainly call me. I mean, I don't want to isolate anybody or make anybody. I mean, I do my best to include everybody. I don't have anybody who's just by phone, but if somebody wants to call me and interact that way, please do.
This is Anik. When do you typically update the balance? I checked this morning and it didn't look like it was updated to May. So for my
I update. I'm basically in the process of doing the numbers, but I was getting ready for this teleconference, and I have everybody's numbers, and I was going through them, and about 5 people out of 20 some odd have received their invoices, but I'm presently working through that. So sometime on Wednesday is usually when I update everybody's numbers, and it's sort of a process with me anymore. I send out the invoice, and then I update the spreadsheet. But my process is changing because I'm sending out formal receipts now, so there's a lot of learning on my side. So it takes me a little bit longer, but I do get things ironed out. So expect it to be probably before noon tomorrow. It will be updated.
Okay, thanks.
Yep, sure.
Could you just explain again how the money works for the second?
Okay. So if someone is joining and they're a new member and they're just going to join and get service and they want to join and explore the Produce Club, so they just want to get a second share, what I suggest for people to do is to send me a deposit of $20, and I'll explain why $20 in a minute. From that $20, I go to the market and I